Okay, if you want to paint a sign, okay, this was a piece of plywood, BC, exterior, 5/8. One side was finished, okay? And first you're going to prime it. I like to prime it with a brush because it grinds it in there, okay? And I leave hair and stuff in there because it means that it was done by me. Signs are going to be seen like 20, 30 feet away. Usually no less than 10, and people are driving like 40 miles per hour a lot of times. This is a little sign for a delivery service for a warehouse. So I buy cheap dollar store stuff like this, and the top coat is Rust-Oleum. So I brush on the primer all sides, okay, and you let that soak in, okay, and the foam roller is excellent. You could really get a smooth finish. Like, you see those lines? They'll go away, you keep going over them, and it'll flatten itself out. Like, you could paint vehicles and everything with foam rollers, and people will think that you put a really nice super finish. But, you know, a sign doesn't have to be a cream puff or whatever. And I'm going to do the next process will be the lettering and stuff like that. But for the most part, like a $17 can of Rust-Oleum, okay, a $17 gallon of primer will last you a lot. Okay, and then they have the little tiny cans of Rust-Oleum for the colors. I like to use oil if I have it. I'd rather use acrylic if it's all there. But, you know, when you're an artist, you just use colors and you just paint like mad. And sometimes you use your paint because you have inspiration. So, for a sign like this, it'll last. It'll last 10 years, you know, easy. And it'll fade, but it won't, like, peel off like vinyl letters, because I've suffered the vinyl revolution. Okay, but when you start painting a sign, your lettering is most important. You don't really care about surfaces like the brush strokes and stuff, because that's pretentious. That's like baby stuff. That's not real world. And if you're going to be worrying about that, that's for people that spend twice as much on cream puff stuff. Now, this sign will do the same as a smooth sign once it's out in the open and once it's in service. So it's a bunch of crap if you think that a little bit of a whatchamacallit there is going to affect your overall sales. Okay, you're not on, like, I don't know, is Rodeo Drive even good anymore? But I painted all kind of signs, show cards, and everything else. And you know, when you're working for mom and pop businesses and non-corporate things, you can give them a deal. You could have fun doing it, and you could just, you know, you learn a lot of skills that you could take this anywhere and always use this. So if you know how to letter, money will flow. If people aren't ignorant, like I'm a Yankee in Crackerland, so, you know, I'm not getting as much work because people don't, you know, they're different around here. But I still prevail. And then you don't want to get the sides until you're done, because it'll put a mark in the roller, and then when you go back over your smooth parts, it'll make like a divot or a track. You don't really want that. And you know, you can't always have temperature control. When I was in Florida, this stuff would be drying super quick, which is annoying. And then you can't always use dollar store stuff because, you know, the heat will get it. But like, this is going to be coated with letters. I'm going to make pencil marks on it. So, like, again, don't be like your worst enemy. An artist is his own worst or her own worst critique. You know, you're your worst customer, because you know you could do better, but, you know, the money and the circumstances aren't always there. Now, for certain things, like if somebody wants a sign for their hot rod or their house or something, you could do a nice job if you want to, and if you don't, then, you know, cut them a deal. Sometimes it's worth just getting through it so you can get the portfolio pieces. So now, like, you know, you try to get them, and as I go through the whole sign, you know, I'll go back over it, because when I touch it up when it's done, obviously it's going to be white. So I can, you know, you can miss other areas, but just to get it going, put yourself a nice couple coats between the primer and the top coat, and then run with it, because you're going to be touching it and stuff like that. Vinyl letters will stick to this, but I'm not about vinyl letters. They cost a lot of money because people have to pay for the machines, because they usually don't have the skill to do it by hand themselves. So, you know, those are the kind of people like, oh, look, a letter's half crooked. Yeah, but you're paying $40 for a piece of for some plastic vinyl without the board or anything. And like, you know, like this sign could be $250 all day long. It's going to last. This thing will last 10, 15 years when it's done. But the plywood today isn't the same as it was yesterday because the EPA and toxins, they don't want you to have good chemicals. Only like other people in foreign countries have that, you know, military and stuff, because they don't care about brain damage and stuff like that. Anyway, so this is what you're going to work with. And you could just go up to somebody and say, hey, you know what? Your sign looks like crap. Can I repaint it? Right? And you could paint over vinyl letters with Rust-Oleum. Don't let anybody tell you different. All day long. And then you will learn how to do letter styles by repainting other signs. So, you know, like, I have enough information to teach, but you can learn a lot practicing yourself, because it's trial and error anyway, because everybody has their own technique and hand styles and stuff like that, so it's going to work different for you. But the materials are there. And I like to wear gloves sometimes, but it's hot. I don't, you know, but I'm not making a mess with this. So, and like thinner, you don't really want to put thinner on your hands. So, regular paint thinner will work with Rust-Oleum too, which is really cool. And you can mix the colors. Sometimes the white has a pink or grayish hue to it, because that's just the way it is. Or white, like one shot, it's almost got like every color in it, so it covers every color. It's kind of weird, but Rust-Oleum will do that. I painted a truck once and it had a pink hue. The truck was white before. I repainted it white and it had a pink hue. And then I repainted it and then it had a gray hue, because, you know, each run of paint could have a different something. And there's warm and light colors too. So you'll be understanding that. So now we have this, and we're going to letter it up when it dries later on. And then that'll be the next part. So I didn't show you the primer part. I just used a regular brush for that. And listen, if you got porous surfaces that are soaking in paint, you could even use acrylic paint as a primer, watered down, because you just want to seal it so the top coat sticks. Because once the oil's on there, it's going to adhere pretty good. So that's where we're at right now with this one. And we're looking all right. We're looking, look a nice reflection in there. See how nice. It looks like water, like we're on the Thames River. Not. Anyway, so that's the start of this sign. I'll show you the lettering and stuff as it goes on. And for right now, that's all she wrote.